Yo, it's me, it's the SEOTT baby. And this was an unplanned video. Something I thought of on the fly, which is how I do my best work, I guess. But I was sitting there watching YouTube. There's a video on the James Wan film, Dead Silence. And I thought, I did a ranking of my top 10 favorite Spielberg movies. So I started to look up what movies he did, and, well, there was one I was wrong on. I thought he did Don't Breathe. He did not. That was Fede Alvarez, not James Wan, but that's besides the point. Truth is, though, I didn't have enough to do a top 10 list, because I've only seen 8 of the films that he's done. I only own 6 of them on physical media. I have 1 of them on digital, but I figured, what the hell, I have most of the movies. I can just talk about the other 2. So this is the impromptu James Wan movie ranking. Starting off at number 8. Now, before I start, I do not dislike any of these films. I absolutely love all of them. It was very hard for me to come up with a list of which one was better, but I think I did all right. So, number 8 is Insidious. Now, when this came out, this was, I remember being hesitant because, to me, it seemed like they were ripping off The Haunting in Connecticut, because the tagline in Haunting in Connecticut was, your son's not haunted, or the house isn't haunted, your son is. And they used that same line in the trailer for Insidious. The house isn't haunted, your son is. And they said Insidious. I'm like, no, it's Haunting in Connecticut Part 2. And then they came out with the Haunting in Connecticut 2, which is a different story. But I didn't go see it. I was like, no, they're ripping off Haunting in Connecticut, which in itself isn't that very good of a movie. Because once I saw it, I'm like, okay. And then I saw this eventually on the DVD, and I was like, okay, it's not a ripoff. It's a much better film, and James Wan is better directed than whoever did Haunting in Connecticut. But the spookiness, the atmosphere, everything, especially the performances of Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne, very good. Number 7 is The Conjuring Part 2. Once again, Patrick Wilson is back, this time with Vera Farmiga, and this is the sequel to The Conjuring. And while I like this film, I think that the fictional, all these, the first one was touted as based on a true story, but I think, this one is, the first one, which we'll talk about later, is more grounded, as this one is more fantastical, bringing in a demon nun, and having it be that this demon nun has been haunting them for I don't know how long, and it somehow, out of nowhere, is the cause for this random family's haunting. Way too fantastical to believe, and it brings the groundedness from the first one, and even Annabelle itself, which was the next chapter, down a little bit. So, yeah, that's why it's this low. But number 6 is, and I didn't think it would be this low because I absolutely love this film, but it's Dead Silence. On the heels of Saw, James Wan and Lee Waddell released this, Dead Silence, which is about another puppet and the curse of Mary Shaw. She had no children, only dolls. And if you see her in your dreams, make sure you never ever scream, or she'll rip your tongue out at the scene. And I just remember, we rented this or something, how I first watched it. And I just remember, maybe it was on Sci-Fi Channel one time, I don't know. I just remember being mesmerized by this film. It was constantly on rewatch for the longest time, and I got to do a review on it, because originally that's what I was going to do. I'm like, I'll do a review on it, and then I came up with this list. And so, yeah, for the one that gave me the idea for this list, it comes in pretty low, But overall, it's got the spookiness down. I'm shocked they never came up with a sequel, even though I don't know how they'd go about it, since, spoiler alert, all the characters are dead by the end of this, but I love the twist in this. It's just a little... How, and once you it's one of those twists where, once you rewatch it, you kind of catch it. So yeah, I'm not going to reveal the twist, but yeah. Number 6. Number 5 is Insidious Chapter 2, and what I like about this one, more than the first, is that it connects to the first. And even though character Elise is gone, killed at the end of the first film, she's still present in this, and she still has a presence in the character Carl, who I think should have been used more throughout the franchise, but when you make the other 2 prequels, I can see why. And, you know, and you explore the further even more, and you explore the past of Patrick Wilson's character. I really enjoy that. And that's why it comes in at number 5. I'm sorry, I haven't seen this for a long time. The movies I have, I'm probably going to talk more about, but the ones I don't, you know. So, number 4 is Aquaman. And like I said, this list was really hard, because I'm sitting there shuffling between this and number 3 going, which one's better? But my connection to the next one is what kind of pushes it forward. And for, you know, this is not his first non-horror film, but it was the first like superhero film that he did, and you could tell that his influence was on this. Like, you could tell this is a James Wan film, especially when you get to the trench scene, and which I forgot to talk about in my review. But you get to that trench scene, it's James Wan, 100%. I remember seeing that in the theater. I'm going, this is James Wan. If you didn't know James Wan was directing this, before you get to that trench scene, once you get to the trench scene, you know that's James Wan, right? Same thing with Shazam. If you didn't know that the guy who directed Lights Out directed it, once you get to that boardroom scene, there you have it. And as much as people say, oh, that boardroom scene in Shazam is not for children, well, that the trench thing is actually pretty creepy, but, you know, and it's like the atmosphere. And watching this in theaters, the cinematography is excellent. It's just like, yeah, it's a wonderful film. And, you know, when you have a great cast and a great director, it really works. You know, the saying is, you give me a good script with bad actors, I can't do anything for you. You know, you give me an okay script with some good actors, there you go. I don't know how that works in this, but this is a very good film. Number 3 is Furious 7. Like I said, my connection with the Fast and Furious franchise was just ahead of Aquaman. It was Paul Walker's last film. Hopefully, don't do it, Universal. Don't do it. Don't bring him back with CGI. This is a quick cameo from behind the head or something. Because Mia's supposed to be in the 9th one, whenever we do get that sometime next year. And they say that, they're thinking about bringing Brian back. Oh, it's just a cameo from behind, you know, or an audio clip or something just to say, he's still around. But don't try to bring him full back into the franchise with CGI, because this is the perfect way to send the character out. If you're gonna show him a quick cameo, that's fine, but don't do any more. But yeah, for Paul Walker's last film, this is pretty good. But the one thing that kind of keeps it low is the fact that it's kind of disjointed for me. I think I said this in my review, is that if most of the film feels like this pulse-pounding action film, balls to the walls, going at it, and then all of a sudden at the end, it takes a left turn at the Albuquerque, and it's this homage to Paul Walker, and it's just very sudden. So, as good as this film is, the other 2 are better because they're consistent, whereas this one kind of just takes a left turn. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, I was just watching this post-panic action film, and now I'm crying. What the hell? You know, it's... You know what I mean? Number 2 is The Conjuring, where, this was another one that people were, based on the true case files of the Warrens, and you could say what you want to about how, who knows if anything is really true, but this one is very grounded to the point that when I saw this, I was shooken. I was shaken. I was shook, and I bought the Blu-ray, It took me a while to buy that Blu-ray, first of all, when it came out. I bought this from Family Video. I bought the DVD. Oh yeah, that's right. I bought the DVD first from Walmart, and then I bought the Blu-ray. And I just remember, like, the rewatchability on this, because as creepy as it is, I don't rewatch it as much. But like the other ones in there, like 1 and 2, the James Wan directed ones are have the creep factor, so I don't rewatch them as much. I want Annabelle's and stuff like that, something I don't know, but like, yeah, this one really creeped me out when I first watched it. I was really shook. I was like, whoa. But yeah, just the way that, like, most of this film takes place in the dark, and you got this real feel like there could be something there that you can't see, and that's like with this scene right here where she's playing hide and clap with someone or something, and she hits the match, and then you see the hands just come out of the darkness and go, and the light, and then the match goes out, and it's just like, whoa, that really gets you. It has the spooky atmosphere, and making it a period piece. I mean, it's based on it, so you have to make it a period piece, but it works. And the fact that this woman is being taken over by something that she doesn't know what it is exactly, she can't control it, she can't stop it, and her family can't do anything about it, so they have to bring in the Warrens. It's just, that she's desperate. She has to go to these people that she's not even sure if it's true or not, but there's something going on. And it's one of his best, but the best. You're going to sit there and you're going to go, wait a minute, I know what's number one, and how can you say that's the best? Well, for me, number one is Saw, and the reason is that it was his first film. Something he wanted to get done. They did a little short film, and then they made it a big feature film, and compared to the other Saw films, it's kind of like each film became more grander and bigger in scale, until it was like there was very little resemblance of the franchise other than some of the characters that we knew, like Hoffman or Jill. But this goes back to the beginning, and you get that twist at the end of the film. Since I already reviewed the movie, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it, where you get that great twist where the person you think is dead, laying on the entire movie, just gets up and shocks Adam, shocks the audience, and just goes, the key to that chain is in that bathtub. And then game over. It's a shock, because you don't know. You think it's Zeppelin, and it's not. And then you get these flashback sequences. You get Danny Glover. You get, and even though some of the acting isn't at the best, Lee Whannell isn't that much of an actor. He's done some other things, but they're all been kind of short little cameo stuff. Cary Elwes was slipping in and out of his accent, but you got Danny Glover, you got Ken Leung, whatever you pronounce the name. You got Tobin Bell, Jigsaw. You got all this cast together. Even some minor characters that just pop in, like Rig or Carrie, that would show up in later parts of the franchise. It's the start of something that you didn't even know was going to start something, And it's the start of James Wan's career, and it was, something that started he's not really big careers. He's only done like a handful of films, but he's going to do more. And, to me, when I think of James Wan, Saw is what pops in my head. So that's why it's number one. And I'm going to try to do more of these director-centric countdowns or rankings, because I kind of like them. I did Spielberg. I did James Wan. So who knows who's next. But, yeah. So what are your thoughts on my ranking? Let me know in the comments below. What's your ranking of these 8 films? Would you add Death Sentence in there if you've seen it? Would you, add some couple other ones that you've seen? I haven't seen them all. So, but, yeah. So what are your thoughts? I've been Scotty. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.